Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. You all come in on this Martin Luther King holiday, on this Martin Luther King's Day celebratory day. And I want to talk about his dream, um, the countdown of 11 months before his assassination, the new phase of direction he was entering into. So you all come in, hit like and hit share. As always, health is wealth. So I'm on my way to the gym. Not planning on this being a long live stream, right? Want to keep it at 20 or 30 minutes. So I'm not going to give, shout outs or name. Going to get right into the topic. But I do want people to know that um, when live streaming, it's not like uploading videos, right? It's not like video uploads. People have questions that come in, et cetera, et cetera. And during a live stream, sometimes you have to pause and your thoughts may be, geared towards that question. I actually have on a Believe Big Again t-shirt. So Martin Luther King was all about being a dreamer and his dream. And so 11 months before his assassination, you all again come in, hit that thumbs up. His tonality changed, his viewpoint, whether, that part about the Martin Luther King legacy wants to be um, concentrated on or not. But two speeches that I highly recommend that people listen to is The Other America. I'm sorry. The Other America and the Mountaintop speech. And also the little small excerpt in which he said, I'm coming, or we are coming to get our checks, right? There's a small excerpt about she's coming to get her checks. So give me 1 second. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me block somebody out as I'm looking at a comment. And so today, I do want to talk about financial enhancement, financial education, financial empowerment, right? Financial enhancement, financial education, financial empowerment. And so during this transition, Martin Luther King said, hey, we're coming to get our checks, right? We're coming to Washington. He talked about the Poor People Campaign, right? Poor People Campaign. He talked about, give me 1 second, I gotta do something. Poor People Campaign. He talked about the wages, right? Of and I thought about he had the march in Memphis for sanitation workers. And even today, for example, like where I'm in my state, sanitation workers are still working today on MLK Day. They don't have this day off, right? Um, they're still picking up the garbage today. He talked about the low income and the low wages of sanitation workers. And his dream has not come to pass. His vision has not come to pass. His desire of having equality of income has not come to pass. And so if you really want to know, if you really want to get into the discussion of the dream of Martin Luther King, then let's go back. He said, I believe in nonviolent marches. I do. He said, I believe in nonviolent marching, but I also understand the mindset of the people that march. I also understand their um, you know, philosophy, right? That march. And so, okay, give me 1 second. Gotta block somebody real quick. There we go. Yep. So I had to block somebody. And with that being said, right? Hello, Lisa. People still don't get the message today. They still don't get the message. They still don't understand the economic equality. And Martin Luther King said that he was on a flight. One time he was on a flight, and a white person or Caucasian person, whatever you want to identify them as, said to him, I don't understand why your people, I was born poor, I was born in poverty, I was born paycheck to paycheck, um, in a poverty situation. And he said, I don't understand why your people don't um, improve economically for themselves. Why do they always want the government or the powers that be to give them something, right? And so, with that being said, then give me one. All right. So, with that being said, people, Martin Luther King responded this way. He says, "We are the only culture that was brought to America in chains, right? That was forced to work on American soil with free labor for over 400 years with no restitution, um, to build American and work on American soil." And he says, how can you ask a bootless person to pull themselves up by their own bootstrap? That was his response to the man that says, why don't you people help yourself? And he's saying, why don't, how can you ask a bootless person to pull themselves up by their own bootstrap? And people, he also stated that the Supreme Court passed the segregation law or civil rights law in 1964. In 1964, and he also elaborated that it was a very watered down civil rights and segregation act, and that since that act, that passing of the civil rights in 1964, that schools actually became more segregated, churches the most segregated um, business on Sunday morning. And if you don't think church is a business, it is. Church is a big business financially. Churches bring in more money than Silicon Valley and California. At $1.2 trillion do churches bring in collectively throughout the United States. 1.2 trillion on average a year. So you would think collectively, with organizations bringing in $1.2 trillion, that the cure for poverty and hunger would be solved, if nothing more, but by the churches institutions in America, since the government seems to not have an answer for it. But that's not the case. 1.2 trillion collectively in church organizations and institutions. And so most segregated time is on Sunday mornings in church institutions. And so Martin Luther King began to elaborate in 1964 that was a very watered down um, civil rights passing. And he also expressed that you cannot have famine and freedom at the same time, right? You cannot have famine and freedom at the same time. And I want this to digest with you. I want you to understand it. I want you to say this repeatedly until this saturates into your subconscious mind, that you cannot experience famine and freedom at the same time. He also said that, people asked him, why do you want these laws to be changed? Why do you want these laws to be rewritten? Laws cannot change what's in a man's heart. And he said, you're correct. We cannot change what's in a man's heart. If a man have hatred in his heart, we cannot change that. But he said a law can change a man's habits. So we can't change what's in his heart, but it can change his habits. And then they went on to say that a law cannot make you love me, right? Passing a law cannot make you love me, but having laws in place can stop you from lynching me. And let me see, can I pull that speech up? His last statement, or 11 months, and I looked at that he said, we're moving to a new phase. He says, I understand, I don't think that peaceful protesting work, but now I understand the mindset of people that go out and have riots. He said, I believe in peaceful protesting, but I do understand the mindset of people that have riots because their voices go unheard. He says, I'm not promoting riots. I'm promoting nonviolence, but I do understand the mindset. Now, let me see if you all can hear this. Right? I'm not sure if you can hear this, but let's see. I may have to hold it here because I have my AirPods in.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farm. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. This is what we are faced with, and this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we're coming to get our check.
From his speech, The Two Nations.
So this is the Two Nations, or the Other American speech. He said, we're coming to Washington to get our checks. How can you tell a bootless man to lift himself up by his own bootstrap? Also, something I want to point out, Martin Luther King, at that time, it was Black Power, right? It was all about Black Power, Black Panthers, and the land was stolen at that. But this is my thing right now to tell you all before I log off. The dream is not accomplished. It has went from saying Black Power to now Black Lives Matter. And if Black lives really matter to Black people, whenever you have large shootings in Chicago, you will see that same reaction, right? That you do when you see a killing, and I'm not justifying a killing when, cops are killing Blacks because they have a legal badge that gives them certain authority to do so. I'm not justifying that, but what I'm saying is that Black lives really matter. The sword will cut two ways. There should be voices speaking up. There should be unification of Blacks if they really believe Black lives really matter. So we transition from Black Power of the Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Civil Rights era to now Black Lives Matter, to where Black Power is non-existent. And if people really want to see Black Power, you can only see that in the form of economic power. And this is what Martin Luther King got to. He was like, there's no way that my people or the people or black people can be uplifted if they have no land. If you're asking them to pull a bootless man to pull himself up by his own bootstraps, you won't give them jobs with he talked about in essence basic income. He says they don't have the same pay at the jobs as other cultures and ethnic groups, right? Thank you, Latasha. So you cannot really have black power or any power, and as Latasha said, without green power, which is going to be digital power in a few months, or crypto power, right? But you cannot have that. You're giving away millions of land, and for years you profited the United States off of the backs of blacks who gave free, who I won't say gave free labor, let me say it correctly, who were forced to be labored. And then that same land that they were brought here in chains and had to work American soil on by force. Now when you set them free, they have to experience famine. There's no food, there's no equality of pay. Then they open freedmen banks. This is before slavery was free. This was in the 1800s, and they called it, Wells Fargo called it Freedman's Bank, so that when the slaves were free, of course, that name alone um, attracted them, right? It to the bank, and then they stole all of the slaves that were free out of Freedmen's Bank money and their wealth. And then you have things like the Black Wall Street. Do not ever think that blacks never tried to build businesses. Don't ever think that blacks only want a handout. I would say it this way: some blacks, right? When they built the Black Wall Street, they came and sabotaged it and killed it and burnt it down. Uh, when there was a black community, not black neighborhoods, right? Black community. And another thing that Martin Luther King said as he was giving speeches of the other American, or the mountaintop speech, right? He said this, right, as the new phase of the civil rights struggle. He said, this is a new phase, this is a new era. We're coming to get our checks. So he had the other American, things like that. He said this way, that socialism is for the rich, right? Socialism, this is a direct quote from Martin Luther King. I know you see a lot of quotes a lot of times, right? But this is a direct quote. And you all hit that thumbs up. I'm seeing like 400 people in here and only like 23 thumbs up. You all hit the thumbs up. And he said that socialism is for the rich, and capitalism, thank you on Facebook for that digital love. Capitalism is for the poor. I promise you all, I have been faithfully live streaming to teach you all that. Most people don't even know what socialism is, or capitalism for that matter. Socialism is when you own the product, when you own the businesses, when you own the services. Capitalism is when you buy the product, when you buy the services, that's where we get the word consumer from, when you consume the businesses, goods and services. And I have been teaching you all that they have every month, the United States have put in place some type of celebratory event so you can continuously be in a capitalistic society. So you can continuously spend your money, and you can continuously operate in capitalism. January, New Year's. I'm probably going to forget some. February, right before right after New Year's, you're going to see February, the balloons, the candy, teddy bears, etc., etc. Florist shops, flowers. March, you have spring break. Then you have St. Patty that also comes up, and then even in April, you got your April Fools. Uh, Everything every month. In May and June, you have Mother's Day and Father's Day, and then in May you have graduation. In June, now you have Juneteenth. And then July, they come right after Juneteenth, and they come with the 4th of July, and as well as Father's Day in June. Did I forget May, Gwen? Um, and then August is back to school time, back to school shopping. August is school is another big business institution financially that if kids have not been taught about credit and leveraging credit as early as the age of 18, they are hustling backwards and getting in debt and college debt for, in most cases, a certificate that they'll never be able to repay that back with for a certificate or a plaque on the wall. Their jobs will never pay them the income they need to pay back that student loan debt. And so, and then now you got back to school September, Labor Day, and October, Halloween, November, Thanksgiving, December, Christmas. Oh yeah, April, Easter. Thank you so much, Gwen. Thank you. Oh yeah, Easter. How can I forget Easter? The biggest holiday. And then, Christmas and Easter, they wrap around the death and the birth of Christ. All to get you to continuously to participate in this capitalistic society. And they pull on you emotionally. So Martin Luther King also said in The Other America, right, that socialism is the people in the big businesses that's selling you these products, right? They're selling you these products, like the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musk, the CEO of Home Depot, the Big Lots, the Kroger. Someone brought that to my attention on my live stream yesterday. Kroger employees are walking out in Colorado on strike because of their harsh work conditions. And so I don't want you all to think that I'm saying this as an understatement, because I know the two cannot be compared. But now harsh working conditions have just transitioned from the slavery and the plantation to the job, where you have people walking out of Jeff Bezos, Amazon, talking about their slave-like work conditions. And again, do not think I'm saying that they are equal, because being beaten and fed 2 meals a day and working in the sun with no shoes on, and then working outside in the winter months in the cold with no shoes on, giving one change of clothing a year that was out of burlap clothing. And then not only was what they was fed was so impure, like pigs and pig feet. I'm not even saying that's comparable to the job, but in 2022, most people are working under those conditions like that. That they are saying that it's harsh, right? In a job work environment. Yes, Ken J. Yes, Valentine's Day is big. It is. It's big. And, you know, don't get me wrong. I still have to somewhat participate in capitalism, because that's how my friends and family understand the language of love. Me, my love language is more quality time, and traveling the world, seeing new things, meeting new people. Um, but as my mama just texted me, my mama, my mama just texted me, "You low down." I text her some. Dallas Cowboy memes. You know, her and my dad are big Dallas Cowboy fans. And I have to understand, like my mom called me this morning, speaking to my mother that just texted me. I gave her two African Americans dolls that are about three feet high. And that's her love language. I'm not taking it away from her. That's her love language. I show her that I love her by understanding her love language. They know how I feel though about capitalism. They know that, you know, Tanya's going to get us some things because we still participate in Christmas and all of that, but it's against her belief system. But I do that because I understand that's their love language, not because I feel forced to. I've heard people that said they go out and get um, loan advancements against their income tax return just to buy Christmas gifts. You cannot afford it in that situation, so don't do it. Show your kids other ways that you love them. Oftentimes, these kids play with these toys on Christmas Day, and 2 days later, you find it under the couch somewhere anyway. Most kids, because I work with youth, would rather have the quality time that most of their parents don't give them. I promise you. And so, capitalism, according to Martin Luther King, is for the poor. And until the poor people understand that, until poor people understand taxation, until poor people understand that Martin Luther King introduces a new phase, a new vision, a new era. He said, we're coming to Washington to get our checks. He began the Poor People's Campaign, right? And as much people that say how much they love Dr. Martin Luther King because he believed in peaceful protest, guess what? They yet assassinated him. They yet assassinated him. I had somebody to post on my Facebook and I blocked them since then, but they said that, you know, I call myself the crypto queen. I only talk about crypto for 2 days. Yeah, I have. I leveled out from talking about crypto and that I claim to be rich. Listen, I don't have to prove to anybody my portfolio, and I'm not going to try to, right? But I laid out talking about cryptocurrency in specifics because there were people, right? When I go on other, you know, crypto channels, um, and I just listen to someone and they give great content. I'm not knocking it. But when I see the people giving $400 super chats, $50 super chats, and people want me to give them the wealth strategies of cryptocurrency for giving me $11.11, I'm not going to do that. The Bible says, do not pour new wine into old wineskin. And I made this post on my Facebook. I will give you value for free. I will. I will give you value for free. I'm giving you value now, whether you appreciate it or not. But my time, I'm not giving it to you for free. Because honestly, I'm giving you my time for free now. But I'm not giving you access to me where you can just pick up my phone and ask me questions to better your financial situation, and you don't believe in the exchange of services. We can just do this like this. I'll get on here. I'll randomly talk about certain cryptos publicly. But other than that, I'm going to pour into my Patreon about the real moves to make. The Bible told the lady, well, Jesus told the lady in the Bible, the woman was hungry. And a lot of people would say, that is so rude, right? And she asked for some food. And Jesus said, who am I to give the children's bread to the dog? He called a woman a dog. And she humbled herself and said, Lord, even the dogs deserve the crumbs that fall from the master's table. Let me tell you this, people. I give you value for free. You're not going to get my time for free. You're not going to pick up the phone and get a free consultation from me. You're not going to pick up the phone and waste my time about how to do this and how to do that. Don't find somebody else that you can use that mentality with, because I'm not the one. And guess what? I don't owe it to you. There's no exchange of services between us. I don't owe you anything. The only thing I'm trying to do is to teach you what the real fight is and what the real problem is in America. And that's the only thing Martin Luther King wanted to do as well as Malcolm X. And if Black lives really matter, when our youth are out here killing each other in Chicago and other places, every time there's a disjustice of killing, whether it's black on black or white on black, we will have the same reaction if Black lives really matter. If Black power really mattered, the dollar will circulate in the Black community more than 6 hours. This is my mom calling me now, my other phone. I call her back. It would circulate in the Black community more than 6 hours. If you really respected Blacks and the information that they gave, you will not see these Black live streams with people always giving $10, $20, and $30 for knowledge, information, and wisdom, right? But they will be like these other YouTube channels who can give $50. I mean, I saw a $400 super chat on Cryptos R Us live stream today, and he was talking about something I already said, Cardano. But he did talk about this Samsung making a new deal with Cardano as well. And these people want to say, oh, she kind of said the queen, she better talk about crypto. I'm not pouring new wine into old wineskins, because I've been telling people, some of you all don't even have enough cash flow. You don't even understand capitalism and socialism, and you want to get in crypto. Did you all know that now the government is dropping new tax laws for people that's selling their NFT art? Let me pull that up. You don't even know your enemy. You don't even know who your enemy is. You've been taught. See, Martin Luther King got to the point where he understood his enemy, right? I just saw, I might live stream about this, about child tax credit. Double monthly payments coming in February. Let's see. And Walmart is entering the metaverse. I just did a live stream on that yesterday. But what people really want from me is to call me, for me to hold their hand, for me to coach them and be a consultant to them, and they invest nothing. That's not even biblical. That's not even biblical. The Bible says give honor where honor is due. That's not even biblical. Okay, I got to call my mom back. She just sent me another text. And so if you really, really want to study, the 11 months before Martin Luther King's assassination, you need to look at his new phase and the new mindset that he had. He was not about peaceful protesting anymore. He said, we're coming to Washington to get our checks. He said, since this Civil Rights Law Act has been passed in 1964, segregation has grown worse. And you're not doing equality. There cannot be famine and freedom. They cannot coexist at the same time. And our people need equality of pay. We need money. We need not to be segregated against when it comes to getting capital, getting money and loans and credit from the banks. And that was his message. And then he was assassinated. He was not about any other message. He was not. And guess what? Martin Luther King had people that loved his message of our same color and people that hated it. Malcolm X had people that loved his message, and he had people that hated it. And then Martin Luther King even went down to say, that you put our people in poor houses and you put them in the ghettos, right? And so let me say this. It is very important to know history. You gotta know history, because knowing history is the only way that you're going to be understanding future trends and understanding who your real enemy is, right? If it's done once, history may not always repeat itself, but it often rhymes. More than likely, it'll be done again. But let me say it this way: you cannot allow history to continue to be your crutch. You have more knowledge now than ever. You have more information now than ever. You have more opportunity now than ever. There are some blacks who are exceeding financially. We have more black millionaires and billionaires now more than ever. You learn from history, but you don't lean on history, meaning you don't let it be your crutch. You learn from history, but you don't lean on history, meaning you do not allow history to be your crutch. Stop making excuses and start taking prosperity actions. People that are poor and impoverished are that way because they want to blame everybody except themselves. Right? Dr. Form says Dr. King and Coretta met with Elijah and Clara Muhammad. After that meeting, he was forming the Poor People's March. Yes, he was. Right. Augustine says, forgive our oppressors. I don't agree with that. Why would you forgive somebody who's oppressing you? Oh, that's one of those slave scriptures they put in the Bible. Napoleon said this. He says religion is what they created to keep the poor people from killing white people. Why all of these slave scriptures they put in the Bible work from the sweat of your brow to let vengeance be the Lord. Who says you have to forgive your oppressor? You want to forgive somebody that raped your ancestors, that fed infant babies to alligators to eat, that took the strongest buck of men and raped them in front of them publicly, who burned bodies live, who tied men and women alike between two horses and allowed the horses to just go separate directions and rip them in half. Who says you have to forgive that? I say don't forget it. And I'm not saying walk around with hatred in your heart. But see, if you forgive something, you'll often forget it. And if you forget something, if you forget what's been done in the past, you allow those same tricks to be made on you and played on you in the future. And that's what a lot of people are doing, right? Just like when Christopher Columbus came into America, the land was already occupied. How can you find something that had been occupied for hundreds of years? And he befriended these people and then end up killing them and torturing them and making them his slaves. Let me tell you something. People, I know you. I'm not going to be religious around here. I'm not about to be religious around here. And Martin Luther King started transitioning, say, hey, it's time out. We've done everything, this way. This is the real enemy. We don't have economic opportunities like everybody else. And until we do, our people can never come up. But it's not an excuse right now. Look, people, I'm telling you, this is coming a time period where I'm going to get more comments about Queen don't want to call people. She want to talk to people any type of way. She don't want to give people her free time. Yeah, people that don't even deserve it anyway. But anyway, I give people my time that's invested in me and my business ordeal. That's number one. Everybody else, you get what you're getting now. You give nothing, you get nothing, right? That's the law of the land. But at any rate, you got daycares that are closing. You have teachers that are boycotting. You have students that are boycotting. Says the conditions under this new COVID are harsh at schools, and they're boycotting. And people, now's the time where everybody want to blame somebody except themselves. And not only do they expect Jesus to come to the clouds and be their savior, but they expect other people to be their savior as well. because they refuse to take action. They refuse to take action. And as long as you keep forgiving somebody, and long as you keep forgetting what happened in the past, then they're gonna continuously, as you continues to bend over and let them kick you in the ass, you're gonna get kicked in the ass too. So yeah, you can't set people that don't want. You're right, Gwen. You cannot set people free that don't want to be free. You can't set people free that don't want to be free anyway. And if you don't like what I'm saying, I appreciate you coming on the channel. You can hit the thumbs up or thumbs down, but you cannot set people free that do not want to be free. And it's another thing. I bet you people that go on Big Boy Crypto channel and Crypto or Us channel that gives $400 super chats, $100, $200 super chats, I bet you they can't pick up the phone and call them. I bet you they can't. But then they expect that out of me. Well, Queen, last year I gave you $100 cash out. You can't pick up the phone and just talk to me about this? And then I actually text the person what to do. And I want a phone conversation. Listen, you don't know how much my consultation for phone fee is. That's the first thing you ask. But see, these bigger channels that you give to, these people don't ever put a phone number out there for you to assist them with. But people on those channels don't complain about, I can't get Big Boy Crypto on the phone. Yeah, because he had 1.4 million subscribers. I can't get Crypto RS on the phone. Yeah, because he has over hundreds of thousands of subscribers. So the same respect that you give these other bigger channels is the same respect that I'm going to demand you give me. If you want to give a cash out because you want to spend hours and hours on the phone, listen, I'm not looking for new friends. I'm looking for business partners. That's it. And if you're not in business partnership with me, you're not going to get me on the phone. That's point blank, period. Yay, Patrice, I just read that. I'm about to log off. I haven't checked my emails yet. She said we are business partners now. She signed up for the business. Patrice, I'm going to check that once I get home. So congratulations. I got to add you to the private group on Facebook. So I'll be contacting you. I have your number. Thank you, Latasha. Says hit the likes. And so, people, that's it. I saw somebody that complained on Erica Williams, and she handled this in a very classy way, I think. That's why I guess she calls it the Classy Client blog, that her live streams are too long. I mean, people complain about everything. If she came on here and gave a 30-minute live stream, they'll say she's not giving enough. But because she live streams in an hour, they say it's too long. And she said, well, my live streams are podcast style. And she said, so that's why, they're at their length, but I try to edit and cut them up. But this is the thing. If you're hungry for knowledge, you can sit and watch a Netflix movie for hours. You can sit and watch a football game or a basketball game or whatever your sport is, baseball, for hours and not complain about the time. But when somebody's giving you financial education and a mindset shift, then that time is too long. Listen, you can never please people. Jesus was healing people. He was healing people. He was feeding the hungry. He was, and they still crucified Jesus. They assassinated JFK, John F. Kennedy. They assassinated him about money too. He wanted to change. He wanted to get free of the feds, and he wanted the government to have his own. See, a lot of people think that the feds and the government is the same. It's not the same. And he want the government, Abraham Lincoln, same thing. He want the government to have the greenback dollar. Boom, they took him out. Same thing. So I'm not just saying it's Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. But every time a leader rises up with big influence and want to help people financially, they are taken out. That should make you raise an eyebrow. What is the connection? And another thing Martin Luther King said, he said, I just want my people to have what they are supposed to have on God's green earth. He said, I just want my people to have what they're supposed to have in God's green earth. Some people don't even have that mindset. What do you supposed to have a right to in God's green earth? I'm going to ask that again, and I'm logging off. I got to call my mother back. What do you supposed to have a right to in God's green earth? The welfare system, something that just keeps you impoverished. The USDA housing program, you know how you qualify for that? You have to agree to remain in poverty. And then the government pays all of your USDA and pays all of this. So I know my message is unorthodox. I don't care. I don't care. Because even when I say it straight with no chaser, I still say it with love, whether you can handle it or not. I'm going to say it straight with no chaser, whether you can handle it or not. Let me tell you something. You know, I make a joke because I watched Michael Jackson's documentary once, and he was practicing with his band, and he would tell them to do something. And Michael Jackson would come back and say, with the love, with the love, with love. Oh, he just seemed so nice. And he would tell people, give them instructions. No, I want it like this. I want it like that. He was a perfectionist, right? He would say, with love. But see, that same Michael Jackson went back and got his master's from Sony Records. That same MJ that said, with love. That same Michael Jackson was on stage performing, and he was singing and dancing. And the producer did not cut the song off at the right time. You know what MJ did? He sung to him that you need to go look for another job. He was singing that tune. He said, go look for another, because the producer didn't cut the song off at the time. See, the same person that can give you something with love, you love them until they give you something that provokes you or to make you think differently about your struggling situation. Now, because it's not like how you want it, how you want it received, that same person now is not your mentor. They're not a person that's helping you elevate. Now, they're your enemy, per se. Yes, Patrice. Yeah, Lisa and Gwen says, welcome to the family. Hey, Dre. Yo, I'm gonna give some shout outs because, again, this is live. Well, be like Jesus and create your own stimulus for your community. That's a leader. Create a nonprofit, Navy Federal. Why don't you do it? You know all the information. Akeisha Joyner. So you do it. I never did say that was my vision. See, that's what I'm talking about. People can tell you so much what you need to do. Why don't you see how long my nail is? You do it. That's not my vision. My vision is to help people understand government taxes, to help them understand how to use their credit to get assets, to give them a financial education, and in the future have an academic and athletic center for youth so I can teach them about ancient Egyptians, ancient Kemet, teach them about spirituality, help them academically, help them to learn stuff that's not taught in traditional schools, and help them athletically. That's my vision. See, let me tell you something. If you don't know your purpose in life, people will have all types of suggestions for you. I'm an introvert, extrovert. I don't want to be around a community of people like that. I don't. I don't. And if you can't get the financial education that I give for free, right? And she might not been talking to me. She may be talking to people on the live stream. Then I don't want you in my mix like that anyway. I'm an introvert, extrovert. I don't want a community, group like that. I don't want people wanting me to do a nonprofit, Navy Federal. I don't. That's not my vision, and I would hate it if I even tried to implement that. I want to teach people about this new currency system. I want to teach people how to take advantage of the 475 tax deduction that the home-based business is. And let me stop saying that's what I want to do. That's what I'm doing. And I'm not straying away from that. No, I don't want, and speaking of that, text cash flow to 254-788-1144. I'm logging off, right? Because people, when you get to an hour, people say you speak too long. But that was the MLK, Dr. Martin Luther King, 11 years before his assassination. He said, we're entering a new phase. We're coming to Washington to get our checks. And how can you expect a bootless man to pull himself up by his own bootstraps? He won the Poor People campaign. He started it. That was his mission. And his dream has not been accomplished. Because as the Bible says, money answers all things. And when you have money, you can make power moves and you can make impact. That's right, Gwen. Let's get our cash flow up. Patrice, welcome. When I get back in from this workout, I'm going to get in my laptop and get you set up and send you a congratulations text as well, and add you to the private group that we have. And that's the only community of people I like to do. Right? I don't want to set up a nonprofit like that with a Navy Federal and all that. The private group I like is within a mastermind community that I have. So you all, happy MLK Day. Be blessed. Again, this economy is changing for the worse if you're not prepared, but for the better if you are prepared. So get your cash flow up, get your credit up, get your crypto up, get your assets up. And people, that's right, Dr. Forms in. And people, get your mindset up, right? Get your mindset up. Nothing free ever manifests as anything that's going to give you freedom. Let me say that again. Stop expecting free.com all the time. Nothing free ever manifests anything that's going to provide you true freedom. You all be safe out there. Be safe, be healthy, and be wealthy. Queen out.